to This Week in Magic for March 1st, 2019. Well, this week was interesting. We had our first Mythic Invitational last weekend. There was the announcement. If you caught the Plain Discord opening hand podcast, we talked about how there was an announcement coming out for Modern, in particular for Thursday, and that was the Modern Horizons set being announced. There's also some other stuff that I'd like to cover and let you know about some game-breaking bugs that are possibly in Arena. You know, it just keeps piling up how many problems there are behind the scenes of the game. So, announcing Modern Horizons. This is what they scrapped Modern Masters for, is for this new innovation set of Modern Horizons. This is the first set that they're trying to skip standard. Going back a long time ago, we used to have Type 1, Type 1.5, Type 2, where it had reserve list cards in it, and they were banned and restricted lists. And when they were restricted, they were down to one copy of a card instead of 4 copies like you normally see. So now we're seeing them going straight to Modern, and these new cards that we normally see go through standard means that they're going to go direct to Modern and skip standard altogether. So, just to give a little bit down to it, it's Modern legal only cards. It's going to be new cards plus reprints of cards not in Modern, meaning anything before it would be Core Set 8 or 2008 Magic set. It releases June 14th. They are doing a draft pre-release, which is the weekend before that, which I believe is the 8th and the 9th. It's a 254 cards plus a buy a box promo. Now the buy a box, in the document that I have pulled up here, does state that it's a never before legal card in Modern, but it's a reprint of a card. So it's something from before 2008 in the game. So, announcing Modern Masters. First set designed to skip standard legally and aim straight for Modern. Releasing June 14th, it contains 249 new to Modern cards for 254 total cards, and in the thumbnail it was in there, it said minus basic lands. So this to me looks like there's 5 cards that are a direct reprint for a Modern staple. The one thing that comes to mind would be 5 fetch lands. We'll see as time tells. With a mix of reprints not yet legal in Modern and new cards that celebrate both Modern and Magic's rich history. Modern Horizons releases on Magic Online June 13th at a price pack of $6.99. So online, it's your price pack of $7 US. Because they got rid of MSRP, that is now a starting point for people to speculate where this is going to land. I wouldn't be surprised if this is at a $10 price point in your local LGS. Why the long wait? Well, they're also doing a pre-release event on June 8th and 9th. This can be all a bit difficult to peruse without some examples, so let's show you a taste of what we got. We have Cabal Therapist, which is a 1-black, 1/1 rare creature horror. It has Menace. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, choose a non-land card, name, and target player reveals their hand and discards all cards with that name. And this is card 80 of 254. Cool. So it goes back to Cabal Therapy. That's kind of a throwback to that. And the big one was Sarah the Benevolent. 2 white and 2 generic legendary planeswalker Sarah. If you know Sarah's Angel, you know that this is an ode to Sarah Angels and everything else in the game around Angels. This is a 4 loyalty planeswalker with a +2 ability of creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 until end of turn, a -3 ability which creates a Sarah Angel, a 4/4 white angel creature token with vigilance and flying, and a -6, which could very well be game breaking, and I would guess on the scale of a modern deck. You get an emblem with, if you control a creature, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. So that's pretty OP. You just need a creature on the board. This card, it makes a token protecting itself. It boosts your creatures, and it has a ultimate that could be very game breaking if you get there, and it only takes 1 round of this being on the board. You could, if you had 8 mana with the exile, there's a current black card that exiles a creature that also puts 2 loyalty on a planeswalker. So at 8 mana, you could do both. Now, that being in modern, not likely. Powerful new options mixed with flavorful updates of favorite characters means Modern Horizon is going to be a wild ride. This set is full of cards that build up favorite modern strategies, create new ones, and bring plenty of flavor to matches where modern cards are legal. Previews start at the end of May. Hold tight, changes on the horizon. So, a little joke there. It is a nice set going forward. Is this the new Modern Masters? Well, this is a new set for Modern that mostly has not been legal in Modern, so no. Where Modern Masters was strictly reprints, this is the exact opposite. We'll see what comes from it. Now, the other thing that I did find out on this was, the one place I don't really like to go, but someone did ask if Modern Horizons will be a limited print run, and it's not. So this thing is print to demand. The more people that buy it, the more they're going to print. Because these are the only place you're going to be able to get this set, it is something that you need to be on the market. Unlike Battle Bond, where it's a one and done set, this won't be. Another thing that I came across was there was a eBay listing of a Black Lotus that sold for $166,000, and it went through 81 bids. It's a 1993 9.5 gem Black Lotus. So that's pretty amazing. That's pretty high. That's crazy. It's something to be aware of. Cards are still worth as much as a house. And then from the Toy Fair preview from Hasbro, there was this nice little Nicobolus that came out. You can see Liliana's there at the bottom there, and there's this symbol above him, and we're not quite sure what that symbol is referencing. You can see what looks like, they kind of look like zombies, but I would almost say they're more horrors than zombies, and you can see what looks like a portal behind Liliana. So is this opening a gateway to another realm? We don't quite know, but people are speculating everywhere about this. I know we spoke about Priests of the Forgotten Gods a while back, and people are thinking this is Yawgmoth's Mask, the Apocalypse expansion symbol. And the Phyrexian sculptures with the Dark Ritual. You can see the blood coming down there, and on the Dark Ritual you do see a little bit of blood coming out there, like something's been sacrificed. And you see what looks like the Phyrexian mask sort of drawn on this priestess. Now, there has been a little bit more clarification of it, and it does look like it's the Immortal Sun, which we do know is a Planeswalker Spark in the form of an artifact. So, War of the Spark, is it the war over who gets to control the Immortal Sun? Who knows? We won't know until the set comes out. And of course, season 2 or pre-season 2 ended in MTG Arena. With that ending, that means that the top 8 people in the Mythic league or Mythic placing of MTG Arena Constructed get to go to the Mythic Invitational, expenses paid. Now, I know the list has not been finalized, but I do have an updated list from the Wizard site. However, it's still dependent on when they hear back from the top 8 people that are on that list, if they can go, and as long as they're of the age of majority to be able to go. Now, I do want to bring point, there is the 3rd season, which currently says it's pre-season 3, but it's not. They're saying it's open season 1 is the actual title of the season. Now, first qualifying period for Mythic Champion 3 on MTG Arena, they're changing it. You don't get a free trip out of it anymore already. The top 1,000 Mythic ranked players in Constructed or Limited at the end of this season will be eligible to compete in the season's Mythic Qualifier weekend. And the date for that will be to be announced. Now, does that mean that we all get to sit in our homes and play this Mythic Qualifier online? I would guess, because the top 1,000 are there, so that's a little bit exciting. How does it work? No one knows. Obviously that will be announced later on down the line, and this season ends March 31st, so it looks like these seasons are going to be a month long. So the second qualifying period for Mythic Champion 3 is the top 1,000 Mythic players in Constructed or Limited at the end of the season will be eligible to compete. So they just kind of said it. Oh, that's for the season 2 begins. Yeah, so it begins March 31st. So this is 2 chances to go to Mythic Champion 3. And, it's back to the daily grind of trying to get up there. And there's not much more going on there. It's just now that they're pushing this, there's going to be another tournament where these people that qualify for that tournament will be the ones going to the Mythic Invitational. I don't know if that means all expenses paid again, which would be the suggestion behind that. And here we go with the ranked Constructed top 100 people. This was updated at February 28th at 12 p.m. That should be 12 a.m., I believe, not p.m. Now they're giving 72 hours to respond for the top 8, and then they move down the list. So this a week ago was a complete different list of people at the top 8. I did go back and take a look at it. So, that last week means a lot when it comes down to the top 8. And I think that's why maybe they're going to the top 1,000. Then they don't have to update this list constantly and then let them duke it out later. Now, with the first Invitational, and there was also a Magic Fest the same weekend, I brought up the top decks that won those tournaments. There was a mono blue aggro deck, which Autumn Burchett actually took to win the tournament with. From my understanding, they played extremely well. It was a battle of wits when it did come down to it, beating out everything else. There was even Lewis Scott Vargas, which lost with his Is It Drake's deck, which only has one updated card from Ravnica Alliance, so it does show you that the older strategies still mean something in the game with Ravnica Alliance, but this mono blue did take the win. Now, normally, you just sit there and go, cool, this person won. But everyone was quick to announce that this meant something more to the community because of who it was and not how they played. I believe they played very well. I believe they earned every last bit of it. And, congratulations goes to Autumn. But it didn't stop people from making videos such as this, from Eric Froelich, and certain websites like Hipsters of the Coast, saying that this was something more than what it was. More pandering, more brownie points. I don't get it. Congratulations. It's a crazy thing to even do. And they're trying to make it mean more than it really is. I know the idea of it might rub people the wrong way, but it's not anything that crazy. I think it's more crazy that you actually sat there, stuck to your guns, and was able to play at a very high level of play and win the tournament, and beating out Reed Duke, which is even something more than I believe most of us could even imagine doing. For Magic Fest in Memphis, Jody Keith, another person I don't even know, did a red deck wins. Well, this is more of a Rakdos wins strategy, and that beat out Solitai Aggro, Gruul Aggro, and much more cards. Now, I do need to say, in the top 8 decks, there were 2 decks of Nexus in both of these tournaments also, so Nexus is making a splash in the top 8. And before the ban that did happen with Nexus, they were saying, oh, it has barely even cracked the top 4. It's like, well, it's there. It's a matter of 1 card difference when it does come to drawing your decks. I do like this deck over the mono blue strategy, although the mono blue strategy is a very affordable deck, where this one is probably 3 times the cost, but this one gives you a little bit more with the cards that are currently out there, and I find it's just a little bit more fun myself after researching both. Now, apparently, with MTG Arena, there has been a secret deck. And I happened to discover it today on Reddit. Someone had posted a video, and it's a red deck on Arena that takes advantage of the rigged shuffler in Arena. So I'm going to do a separate video. I'm going to play test a little bit of this deck myself, and I will release a video later on for this bug. I do want to look into it a little bit more and find out, but be known, people are still also taking advantage of the way the programming is in the game. As you saw earlier in the week, I did have the drafting issues with Arena, where people have been able to re-engineer or back-engineer the listing of uncommons in Arena to figure out that there is a pattern, and that you can figure out what the bots are picking, so you can avoid that and know almost what's coming next, giving very much unfair advantages for something that costs real money to do, and for something that will have a real world implication, because now it's the top 1,000 in Constructed and Limited get to go to this qualifier and play. So that's 2,000 people that get to go. And if drafting means you can rig the system in your favor, and on the flip side of the coin in Constructed, this other deck that I'm going to be testing out now is another implication that's going to rig the system. So there's 2 different ways you can get up to that top 1,000, and these are 2 possible game-breaking things that people need to be aware of. So do go look in my videos for the drafting experience that I went through with the list, and I will be posting later on the deck that from what I've seen so far, it does break the game and the meta in best of 1 play, and it's something that does need to be addressed. Anyway, thanks for tuning in for This Week in Magic. Have a great FNM tonight, and we will see you next week. And thank you, and we'll show you the Patreon scroll at the end. Links are down below if you want to join on, give likes, or subscribe to the channel. And also, tomorrow night, Saturday night, I will still be doing the podcast Opening Hand with Desolator Magic, King's Knight, and Ral Tezra of Playing Discord, and of course Desolator Magic. So please tune into that. I will also link the site down below that you can check out that stream from. It's been very fun to do. We are going into our 3rd episode, and it's very much to check out. Thank you, and have a great weekend.